Hello everyone! Welcome back to Drawn by Any channel, where I'm showcasing my art process as well as yapping about different topics. Grab your drinks and let's get started. I'm drinking here some black tea with honey and lemon, and I'm gonna work today on a comic that I've drawn with the characters from Lyria World because I wanted to feature one specific situation that has happened during the game campaign that I'm going through with my players. And it was kind of like a minor interaction between characters, but it was so hilarious to me in the moment I decided I would just draw this. In one of my recent previous videos, I have started to try out drawing comics with 4 panels. I'm not sure if there's like a specific name for paneled comics, but anyway. In the first part, I was showcasing a simple interaction between a shy character and a charismatic character. So if you haven't seen that one, you can go check it out on my channel and leave a comment. In today's one, I decided I would draw this specific situation because I found it hilarious and it was kind of out of the blue. I couldn't resist but to feature it in my sketchbook. So characters in this comic are Allegra and Chiarelli's sisters Arietta and Arianna. So basically Allegra receives a very specific information on a piece of paper for another NPC, and Arianna tries to pick in to kind of get what kind of message he got, and out of a sudden Allegra just eats the piece of paper that he was just reading from. Honestly, I love playing tabletop roleplay games for these moments alone. Because normally characters in the shows are written and they are kind of following the script, because most of the people will just try to make characters for the story. It is pretty recent thing for the characters to be self-sufficient and not serve the purpose of storytelling. Like, they are nice and fun to watch by themselves. We don't even have to care about the story. So usually tabletop roleplay gaming is what gives you the character for the character, and the character himself or herself is actually a story. What is happening, the events and surroundings, they are there to serve the character instead. And this is the specific situation on hand. I'm also hoping that this comic will help me develop the skill for funny comics drawings, because I'm pretty new at this, and my little dream of an idiot would be to draw short comics and some memes maybe. Because that's what I enjoy consuming as an artist. I like memes, and I'm sure most of you do too. But making a relatable or funny thing is way harder than I thought it was, let alone the technical part to draw all the characters in normal proportions that would not look too weird. But the plot itself, or like what to draw exactly, what would be funny, what would be relatable, those were the questions that hit my mind when I first tried to draw a meme. Not this specific comic, but like in general. Because in fact, for me, for example, I am laughing at the stupidest shit that you can even imagine. But that either comes from cultural heritage or like absurdity or randomness. And I'm not sure specifically how to make up a meme like from scratch, how to write it or how to draw it or how to think of one even. It's kind of an art in itself that I have zero knowledge and skills from. So I decided I would start a little bit easier for myself and draw something that I am already familiar with, which is a situation from the roleplay gaming. So maybe this will give me a little bit more experience on how to think of things like this and draw things like this. And in the future, I will become a little better. And hopefully with enough practice, I can become even better at art and also making funny memes. Like, what I've noticed for sure, it doesn't have to be drawn perfectly or super realistically or, you know, with high skill level, because what made me laugh the most was actually drawn pretty poorly. And that's also one of the parts that make it even funnier. So I'm not bothered about drawing too much like detailed and very pretty pictures. I'm just trying to make it like comic-y style and trying to tell a little story with little panels that I have. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense, but like sometimes when I'm playing with my test players in Lyria World, the situations that we are making all together, like I'm giving the environment and the situation itself, and the characters and my players, they are actually writing their reactions and what their character does and etc. And all that together gives me a little bit more freedom of interpretation. And I kind of paint it in my head with imagination and then trying to transfer the same pictures on the paper with the best way possible from what I've read from comics and manga beforehand, you know? So when drawing these comics, I actually tried to combine my experience as a comic or manga consumer and an artist who is drawing a comic for the first time. Like, I'm trying to figure how to put characters in the frame and what pose should I put them on and what style and what details I'm going to draw and what little text I'm going to write just for the reader to be entertained in the best possible way. I kind of solved most of these problems during the sketching phase. The only thing that I added more during the line art is the clothing details, because I wasn't sure whether I'm going to erase the pencil sketch before putting some colors with markers. I'm not gonna color it in full, I'm just gonna put some of the values with grays, mostly for the background, just to kind of mark out the silhouettes of the characters. At the first glance, this is a little thing, but it actually makes the comic more readable. I've learned this from mangakas and reading manga online and in the book, because a lot of times artists for manga are using some simple textures to define volume on the character and to shade them out, but without overwhelming it with too much darker colors, you know? Since they're mostly using digital tools to do so, it looks like tons of dots or like little cross hatching here and there, but I don't want to spend too much time doing this with my hands because I'm drawing traditionally. So it's way easier for me to just put a simple layer of a colored marker, even if it's a gray color. That alone is enough to give enough information to the brain to define the silhouettes and the volumes if needed and stuff like that. So my main goals are to tell a little story or a funny situation with the characters and find a suitable way to make it look more readable, like this background coloring hack, for example. So that's pretty much it for this comic, and let me know down in the comments what you think. I'm open for suggestions and comments and likes and subscriptions and for everything. If you like my work and you want to see more of this stuff, you can subscribe to this channel and check out my other social media mentioned in the description. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm very glad you are hanging out here with me. Wishing you to stay safe and sound, and hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye!